What is up, DTube? So today I want to do a second HEX video for this day because it's HEX Halvening Day. So we can have a little bit of an exclusive day and do two HEX videos for one day. So today I want to talk a little bit about something that every time I see HEX kind of go up in value. So we had a 10% pump today, around mid here into the halvening, and obviously halvening is like a parity. We are mainly just talking about the launch phase, HEX halvening, like halfway through the HEX launch phase. And me as a 90s boy, I want to talk a little bit about every time I see HEX price go up, what I kind of what I feel. So, well, first I did the math, which was kind of hilarious. It only takes $7 million to pump Hex to 1 cent, to 1 penny, basically. Which is kind of hilarious because already then it would be top 6 crypto in November 19th, 2020. And in this video, so when I see Hex price kind of go up, what I sort of feel is, yes, this is actually what technology was designed for. Technology was designed to free humans, up and I've done videos about this in the past, free humans up so they can do what they really want to do. So I think that the 90s generation and many of the millennial generation, they look at technology a little bit differently in how they want to use that to kind of liberate themselves. While I sort of feel that older generations, they just see the technology as just hassle or something that is kind of annoying and that they want to kind of stay ignorant about. That's kind of how I feel a bit about the older generation. They kind of they value more maybe in authority and some kind of control organized system that kind of seems like it's organized even though the system is chaotic, but it sort of works in a way. But I sort of feel with the 90s generation, they sort of they got kind of plugged into this social media in 2010, and maybe they could grow a lot of followers on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. But then eventually they start to run into issues, almost like generational issues, where, okay, you have this like centralized social media and it works pretty decent until you grow too big, until you become super big. And then you start to bump into, I would say, generational shifts of all the generations that don't like this like freedom kind of concept. So you start to run into issues like growth issues with a lot of these older platforms and like first generation technology, I guess we can call it, where you're still plugged into that garbage fiat system. It doesn't even make any logical sense to have that plugged into people. They're trying to use technology to kind of liberate themselves. So it's like, here you have an amazing opportunity to take advantage of intelligence. And like the 90s generation, people born in the 90s, they actually would prefer if they could use technology without so much control freaks from older generations. So how do I see Hex kind of play into this? Well, Hex is kind of exposing a lot of the lies and a lot of the nonsense, especially in the crypto industry. So Hex is doing exactly what I thought about when I discovered Steam in January 2018, and that was, well, the biggest invention here is the money printing aspect. That wait a sec. So when I discovered Steam in January 2018, the thing that was impressive for me the most was the liberation aspect of, oh wait, we can just print money ourselves now. Is this really a thing now? Okay, so why don't we just print more money? Okay, and Hex is just like expanding on that idea. And I've done videos about that in the past, talking a little bit about, well, the one who gives away the most will kind of win. Okay, and the Hex smart contract is giving away the most because it has a big payday. And it just makes a logical sense that if you want kind of like a new if you want to free people up from work and a lot of nonsense that doesn't really have to be done now when we have these super capable smartphones and super capable computers. If you want to if you basically want to free up people um, from having a job and so on, yes, you have to figure out a way to get them tokens in people's hands. And the best way to do that is to do that with a immutable smart contract that has been audited and that the project is complete without any expectations. And that is basically what HEX is providing. So a lot of 90s generations are very annoyed with banks. They don't see the point with them because it's like if you look at the interest rate, they don't have any interest rates, so you can't even save money. I mean, what kind of nonsense is that? Like, that is some serious stupidity. And it's like you can't solve that because all the generations, they don't want to fix their own systems that are kind of broken. So the only thing that kind of then makes sense is to, well, when the 90s generations, when they're dealing with older generation, they kind of have to play dumb. They have to play like they're less, they have to pretend they're more retarded because they kind of see how ignorant the older generations are. And yeah, the only solution with this is, okay, we have seen that in crypto, you get too much drama if you have developers, you get too much drama, or people get kind of people get scattered around and they don't know what is going on if you have too many people in control of something. So the only rational and like logical way of doing this, distribute value to people, is, okay, we have this smart contract and it just runs and it just works and no admin keys. This is kind of like the way you have to do it if you truly want to have, if you truly want technology to do what it was designed to do. I would say technology was designed to free up humans from all the nonsense, right? So just because humans are mainly using their intellect these days and computing stuff in their brain, most people are operating just like a computer. And if they're operating just like a computer, why don't we just let the computer do all of that stuff so you don't have to do it? And that started with the calculator or calculator, whatever you want to call it, when you could do a lot of math on it. And then people kind of wonder, okay, if you can do math on this little gadget, the calculator or the calculator or whatever you want to call it, but if you can do math on that little device, why do you need math in school? It's so dumb. Like, why does any human need to memorize anything? And it was like the same thing when I discovered Google 2007. I did not understand why people had to memorize stuff in their head in a school, because it's like, I can use Google stuff now. Isn't it better that I can use Google information pretty quick and you don't have to memorize all this nonsense in your head? I mean, it's kind of better, right? So HEX is really hilarious in many ways because it really shows super obvious that, yes, what you kind of need is more money printing, okay? And this is already what banks are doing, right? And like governments, they're already printing value for themselves, and now the smart contract can print value the same way. But hey, HEX is even better because it has a share price that always goes up. So it's like it's just better, right? There's just way better ways of doing most of the stuff. So that is what kind of people are starting to discover now. that it's the same as I've discovered the more I've been doing videos and vlogs and writing content, that most of the things that people are doing is just like sharing data around. So it's just about organizing that data and doing it better, right? And computers can do that much better than you, because they can compute much more data than you ever would be able to do in your head. So it's like, so we're seeing the rise of smart contracts. I see that in US Dynasty also. It's a very cool smart contract that just works, and it's like, it's very interesting. So it's like, creation is not a dumb thing, it's a very intelligent thing. So if intelligence is real, obviously most of the stuff that humans are doing with computing, intelligence can do instead. And it's like, for intelligence to do something with like limitless computing power, it's like, it's fine. It can do that much better than you can do it, because it's intelligent. And everything in this cosmos, there's like intelligence everywhere, right? So yeah, I mean, it's like, Hex is kind of Hex is starting the next paradigm shift, I would say. Uh, we had this like first generation blockchains, and it's fine, right? But when we look back at this in like 5 years time or like 10 years time, we're gonna see, oh, that was some truly garbage stuff that people used. When we give better tools to the consumer, so better ways, easier ways to monetize video, easier ways to have control over their data, easier ways to transact. When you fix all these things, which you can do when this new generation comes in here, when you fix all of these things, it's like technology is finally doing then what it was supposed to be doing, which was actually free up humans. Why do we make all these computers and smartphones? Is to improve the well-being of a person. Same reason why are we doing the HEX thing? To improve the well-being of humans, right? So, and why do most companies exist? Well, to improve the well-being, to improve the well-being of most humans, right? So that is like everyone's kind of agenda. So it's like just keep moving more into that direction. So HEX with trustless interest is a very big thing, because almost no other service at the moment offers that, or no other service really offers that in like with this high interest rate that you get with HEX. You can't get it in banks. You can't get it any other way. And yeah, so this is my second HEX Halvening video for today. Kind of fun to do. And it's just a very, very fun project to follow. Because many of us, 90s generations, we always wanted, I forget what I was supposed to be saying, but, oh, wait a sec. Yeah, many in the 90s generations, they have wanted to save value in a very, very long time. But it's like, if you save value in a bank, you can't even create folders in a bank. Like, there's so much stuff that sucks with it. And everything's just so petty, so slow, so dumb. We have faster computers now. We can do stuff faster. We can do stuff with HEX now. And it's just better, you know? So that's what I want to talk a little bit about today. So technology, HEX is finally doing it. So technology is moving forward again. And we're not stuck in this kind of pettiness. And a lot of pettiness has been that, okay, why can't we just create value from nothing? Well, now we kind of can. okay? Because you're kind of minting your own hex, and you're creating your own tokens. And it's like, it's just what makes most logical sense. That you create tokens out of thin air. And yeah, so that's what I want to talk a little bit about today. Have a great day, D2.